Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be making sure that these buttons work. We have created and designed our app right here so everything looks right, but our buttons are not buttoning. So let's head over to Visual Studio Code and let's get that done. So we have all of our code right here. It all looks neat. I've finished tidying it up, and now we're just going to create a new method, and this is going to be called press digit method. For this video, all we're going to be doing is just making sure that all these digits right here actually work. Of course, the period is not a digit, but you get the point. For these ones right here, we're going to save that for a different time. So all we essentially want to do is when we press 1, 1 should be displayed here, and when we press 2, 2 should be displayed here, and so on and so on. So let's get that started. So we're going to create our method right here, or our function. It's going to be called press digit self, and one thing we're going to need is the value from each button. So we're going to call that number. And then we're going to also just put in args, because I found that you kind of have to put args in, otherwise it won't work. So here we go, we have our function, and I just put a quick little documentation just so I can understand it a bit more easier. And now let's go time to store these variables, or these values. So we have this value called number here, it's coming in. Now the thing that we want to do is we don't want to just instantly display it to our calculator right here. Because if we do that, that means if we press 2, it's going to display 2, then 3 is going to be 3. Instead, we want to display 2 and 3 equaling or totaling 23. So how we're going to do that is instead of storing or displaying the variable or the value instantly, we're going to store that in a local or global technically variable. And that's just going to be called self.currentNumber right up here, which I already have made. And then by doing that, we can just do self.currentNumber equal to this number and not equal, because we still want to add to it, so it's going to be plus equal to this number. And that's going to go give us the result that we want. Now we're going to display this to the screen. So we're going to create another function, and it's going to be called def display current number. And that's going to just take self as an argument, and that's it. So now, like usual, I'm still going to document the purpose of my function. You don't have to do this, but I personally like to do this. And now we're going to just quickly access this text input right here. So we're going to do that by doing self.mdn screen IDs, and it's going to be called, or it is called actually, equation input. That's the name of that text input. Actually, I don't know if I have a name for it right now, so let's go take a look. And we have equation input, and no, we don't have a name for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it self.mdn. We're going to call our screen IDs, which every screen has this in this package, and we're going to assign it a name, the value. So now we are here. Now we have access to this. So now we can access that equation input variable or value in any other function through our class. So we have our equation input here, and we want the text input. And then we want the text, and we want to set the text to our self.currentNumber. Now once we do that, we have to actually call our function, otherwise this just won't work. So boom, that is now our press digit is calling this, and everything is working together. Now all we have to do is just bind each button to this press digit method. So we're going to go into our create UI elements, scroll all the way down to our buttons, and we want the buttons with no images because those buttons mean that it's these buttons here. These are the buttons without images. And we specifically want 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to this decimal right here. So how we're going to get that is by using an if-else statement, and if the button text is a digit, and let's see if this works. Boom. So if our button text is a digit, so that means if it's a number, which these aren't numbers, and this is not a number, and this is not a number. So if it's a number, then it's going to work. But we still want this button here. So also, or if button text is equal to this, then we are going to go bind the button to onPress. So every onPress event that is triggered by this button, we're going to call a function, and that will be called partial, which I don't think we have imported from our library. So that's just from function tools import partial. Boom, there we go. So now we have it installed here, and you don't have to install that library. It already comes with Python, so you should be able to install it quickly like that. And now we're going to do self, and we're going to call this press digit function here. And then we're going to give it the value, which is our button text. So essentially what we're doing here is if the button text is a digit, or if it's our decimal, then we're going to bind this button to this press digit function. So every time we press on press, it's going to go press or call this press digit. And then it's going to give us the value of our button text. If we stop running this thing, and also if we run it like so, we have no errors, so that was working perfectly. And now what we should get is 1. And then if we press 1 again, we should not get another one, but we should get 11, because that's why we're adding the number to our current number. And boom, we get 11. So everything is working perfectly. We have our decimal, and we also have our decimals. Now, one little problem that you can see here is a decimal should only have 1 decimal, but we can add as many as we want, which is not good at all. So let's quickly fix that, and also let's fix this. This doesn't look right. So we can quickly do that by going into this press digit method and adding an if statement to quickly check if this number is a period. So here is this line of code that we're going to be doing. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to go type it all out. So here I have a little note for myself. It says, so if a decimal already exists in the current number, then exit this function right here, this press digit function. So what we're doing is if number equals this period, right? So if the value coming in is a period, and we already have a period in our self current number, which we do, then return. We don't want to be in here and do anything. So now if we run that, now if we do 25, and now we hit dot, now if we hit it again, nothing happens. Perfect. And that means everything is working how it should be working. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, you can shoot them down in the comment section below, or if you want, you could go to technofy.com, where I personally answer other questions. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you in my next one.